Commissioner Casas,
Present.
Commissioner Cortez,
Present.
Commissioner Vargas.
Present.
Commissioner Romero just signed in. Sorry, guys.
Noted, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Was the agenda posted according to state law, Madam Secretary?
Yes, the agenda has been posted in accordance to state law.
Thank you. So we'll go on to the first item being the approval of the minutes for the commission meeting of April 15th. Do I have a motion from the commission to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Commissioner Vargas, second.
Okay, we got a first and a second. So we will go on to the first order of business. Roseanne or Armando, will one of you please give the report on the department update?
Sure, I'll go ahead and start, and then I'll allow Armando to jump in. The department has been extremely busy over the last month since we've met. One of our main focuses is that we have been hard at work at overseeing COVID vaccination clinics. We've been doing that for the last 4 weeks. I'm happy to say that we have been vaccinating anywhere from 400 to 500 people. We've been focusing our efforts in trying to get children between the ages of 12 and 17 to get vaccinated. Next week, we'll actually be running 2 vaccine clinics. One will be at Bell Gardens High School from 10 to 7. And the second is actually just for the second dosage of the Moderna vaccine, but that will be held at Veterans Park. We're focusing our efforts in doing the Pfizer vaccine just because it's more available to children, and that's our effort right now, is to try to get as many of our children here in Bell Gardens vaccinated, and we're trying to lure them in and incentivize them by providing $5 gift cards to various locations here in Bell Gardens, like Cold Stone, and I think the other one was Jamba Juice and Starbucks and things like that. So we've been extremely busy, and I'm very proud of the staff and their efforts in trying to help assist and keep Bell Gardens safe. We also are in full swing, for no pun intended, for the baseball season. We have well over 140 participants playing, and games will be starting here in the next couple of weeks. I'll let Armando jump in just a bit to give like the start dates. We also have new recreation classes that are coming online. So all of us who have, done a little bit of extra too much COVID, we can join in on the classes that will be held at Bell Gardens Park. There'll be outdoor fitness classes, and there'll be family and me time. So we're encouraging parents, grandparents to get out with their children and do some exercises. The Learning Center hours have also been adjusted because we realized that we needed to open up a little bit earlier, and it was a learning process for us. But we have well over 40 children coming to our site every day to take their lessons. And then at 1:30, when classes terminate, they transition straight into the after-school recreation program, which we're happy to say is going well. On the 28th concludes the application period for our scholarship program. The scholarship applications are online. We're encouraging all high school seniors to apply. It's first place is $3,000, second $2,000, first place $1,000, and we'll be giving out 10 honor roll mentions at $500 a piece. And so our goal is to try to encourage children, or I shouldn't say children, I should say young adults, to you know, continue their educational pursuits and try to help them along. Another project that we've been working on is working with KDI, who's been helping us do an assessment of our facilities. We know that a couple of them really need a lot of work. One is the neighborhood youth center and the other one is the former senior center. So there is a survey, there is a public participation portion of this that will come online here next week, and I will ask Estrella to send you out the link. We'd like to see as many of you participate. We're looking for as much information from the community as possible and seeking your input. Also, small fry soccer's is going on, and we have practices will start in mid-May and we'll go on through July. And these are for children 4 to 7 years old. So we're trying to get our children, our younger set, to come out and play some soccer. We also had an opportunity to do some senior programming. We did a Mother's Day celebration, and we did a paint party for many of the women that participate in our senior program. It was very, very well received, and the seniors are very anxious to come back and get into more programming. So staff is currently working to address those needs and those wants, and we're working on our summer programming to include a lot of outdoor activities for our seniors. We'll be erecting some tents out there so that they can do more outdoor activities than indoor, and still trying to keep everybody safe. Our Community Family Service Center has also been tremendously busy, assisting with rent relief, which is the most busy program that's going on right now. We're providing rent relief up to $10,000 for anybody in the county of LA. I'm proud to say that City of Bell Gardens is the only municipality in the state of California that is participating in this program. And we are also the only agency in Southeast Los Angeles County providing this service. So we're actually a regional site. And we've received recognition from the Congress member, from the state, just because of our efforts in providing these services. So again, I am so proud of the staff that are working diligently, daily, Saturdays, evenings, to assist residents in getting their assistance for rent relief. Also, our supper program continues. I kind of feel like we're going to be competing with McDonald's. We're at 323,000 meals served since the first week of April of, I guess, of 2020, if I believe we started our first meal. So since it's been a year, and we've done over 300,000. So also, we're going to be looking for volunteers. I'll have Estrella send you out a flyer. But on Saturday, June 5th, we are once again conducting a major food distribution. It'll be on Saturday here at Ford Park. This distribution does not come with any volunteers or assistants, so we have to man up and do our best. So we will welcome all and any help to assist us in distributing food. We have food for 2,000 families, and that will take place on June 5th. We're also planning a Memorial Day celebration. We haven't done one in quite a while, but that will happen on Monday, May 31st at 10 a.m. at Bell Gardens Veterans Park. And we will be honoring veterans. We'll be honoring public safety personnel, as well as individuals who have succumbed to COVID. And so we just want to, again, just try to remember everybody and honor as many veterans and those folks that have passed. And staff is working on that. So you'll be seeing some social media posts and some flyers, and we're working quite diligently on a number of those activities. Most recently, our efforts, in fact, next week, we should be coming out with some publications on some summer programming. The big factor, again, is protocols and following them with trying to keep everyone safe. And I know that there's an item on the agenda where we'll talk about masking and other protocols. So I'll kind of save my spiel for that when that item comes up. But for right now, we're trying to make sure that we understand all those protocols. It seems like it changes almost every day. And we're just trying to stay with it and maintain a positive attitude. And so we're moving forward. We're also in the 3/4 of the way in on a summer recruitment for personnel. We need more staff, and our council has approved a number of positions. So I'm happy to say that we'll be increasing our numbers in staffing here in the next 30 to 45 days. So that's it, unless there's some questions or you need some specific information on the department update. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and I'll save the COVID and the masking for item number or letter D when that comes up. Thank you.
I do have a question, Roseanne. Commissioner Vargas here. You mentioned that on June 5th, Saturday, the food distribution, you need volunteers. You said any and all is accepted. What would you think about like my Girl Scouts? Is that too young? They're all 5th graders. They love serving the community. So I just want to make sure, like, if there's still students that want to do community service, want to give back, what's your age limit?
I think as long as they're supervised, you know, I do have to say the boxes are a little bit heavy, but there might be an opportunity. I know we're going to be distributing flyers on that day for a couple of other programs that are going to be coming up, such as the rent relief and some other things. So they could assist with that part of it. As the cars roll in, our intent is just to pass out flyers. So they might not be like in the midst of where the food is being distributed, because that can go up 50 to 70 pounds. And I would hate for them to be part of that part of it. And I'll let Armando, I know I see him wanting to jump in, but we can do some flyer distribution, and there might be some other areas where Armando might feel that they could fit in.
And for those wishing to volunteer, what would the time frames be?
8 a.m. to noon. And my recommendation, Roseanne, would be to put some of those young ladies in the diaper section if we're gonna have that. Those boxes are extremely light, so, and we could use as much help as we possibly can get.
Okay, there you go, Carmen. Yeah, I forgot about the diapers. Usually we pass out like 2 packs of diapers, and that can be in the diaper section. And again, they can manage those. I was thinking of the big boxes, so that's right. And we could also do some flyers. So as long as they're supervised, you know, by one of your chaperones, that's fine, because they are minors, but that's fine.
Yes, and I just wanted to make that clear because I know there, you know, the high school students also would like to volunteer, just in general, just to find out what the hours for volunteer time would be. Thank you.
I had a question. This is Laura. Around the scholarship. I know you mentioned the deadline is coming up. Do you know how many we've received so far? How many applicants?
You know, unfortunately, I'm sorry, I didn't check today. I know that there was a few last week. What I'll do is I'll try texting Anna right now while we're on the call, and if she provides me a response, I will get back to you and just and let you know. I know that we've received a number of calls. We've sent it out to the principal. We send it out to students. We put it out on social media, but let me see if I can get that information. I knew last week they were starting to roll in, but I anticipate that on Friday at 4:59, there'll be a push.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question, Roseanne. This is Victor Casas. You mentioned earlier that you were going to go on a hiring blitz. Regarding that hiring, are you guys looking at the potential hire of local residents as a priority, or are you guys just opening this up to the general public?
So the recruitment was done by our HR department. I'm happy to say that I think more than 90% of my staff reside in Bell Gardens, and it's always nice to see when the students who have graduated. I know we have one graduating senior that's an employee, a part-time employee with us that attends Bell Gardens High School. So I would say more than 90% of our students, our part-time students, and other workers live in Bell Gardens. And so I'm happy to say a lot of them are homegrown. And so, yeah, we're always, looking towards the inside first. And, we welcome any opportunity for people to apply for our positions.
I have a question. This is Tiara. In regards to, I know that we didn't mention the Aquatic Center. I know that there were a few comments on Instagram and Facebook in regards to that. Do you guys have an update just so that we're aware and so that the community's aware?
Sure. So we're working on an opportunity to utilize Bell Gardens High School swimming pool this summer. And we've spoken to the principal. He is supportive of the concept. We've spoken to their aquatics personnel, their swim coaches, their water polo coaches. They're very excited. We're hoping to have all the details worked out sometime next week. It's something that's happening very quickly. We're excited about it. We're looking at, it'll be a trimmed down program than what we will be able to offer when we have our program. But we do want to do instructional lessons because I think that that's important for children to be water safe. That's something that's been missing for a few years now. And that there's an opportunity for some recreational swim, Monday through Saturday. So as soon as I have finalized information, believe me, you'll have finalized information and we'll get it out there. So we're working on it. I'm saying I'm very optimistic that this is going to happen. So we're just working out the details. It's not very easy creating an aquatics program overnight. There's a lot of safety factors. There's a lot of things that need to be done in order to do this. We're also learning about the aquatic protocols with COVID. So on top of just regular swim and safety, there's aquatic protocols as it relates to COVID. So thanks for that, Tier. I failed to mention that during the department update, but we are working on it, and we should have some finalized responses next week. My intent is to go to council with the first meeting in June.
Awesome. Sounds great. I don't have any other questions. Does any other commissioner have any more questions? If not, we can move to the next item. The next item would be item B, art on our city walls and parks. I'm not sure if Commissioner Casas wants to talk about that a little bit and then have the department do their update on it, or if you would like the department to go first, Commissioner.
Overall, I'd just like to see if there's any updates on what the council has requested as far as getting some type of instruction of displaying local artists' work on our parks and our city walls. And once I get that update, I mean, I guess I have a few things that I'd like to follow up with.
So the only thing I'd like to add to that is that in the project, the Aquatic Center project, there is a budget for a public art piece because we feel that that portion of it is important, as well as the grant application that was written for the Prop 68. There's another public art piece. One of the tasks that I've been asked to follow up on by the city manager is a commission or direction as it relates to art in public places. Currently, the city of Bell Gardens does not have any guidelines, specific guidelines as to what is acceptable, and where it's acceptable to place art. We all know that art is very subjective. What I view as a piece of art and think is acceptable for a wall or a facility may not be the same as somebody else. And so we really need to make sure that the guidelines are in place. So the council has provided direction, I believe, to the city manager, who's provided direction to me to get information in regards to the public art pieces. So we're working on that, Victor, and I will be reporting back to the city manager my findings of what's going on in other communities. And then I'm sure that there's going to be some type of a public forum where that information will be shared with everyone, council, commission, and the general public.
Great, thanks, Roseanne. I had myself on mute, and if I wasn't on mute, you would have heard me say, "Oh my God, Roseanne, you're awesome." You answered many of my questions in just that statement alone. But I did want to add a few things on there. Obviously, you already answered what the department's advancement was as far as the city council's direction to consider the local artists showcasing their work on our city facilities and walls. But the next question I was going to ask, it also sounds like it's up in the air. It's what type of artwork are we looking to allow? If it's the graffiti style murals, if they're being considered, what's the department's stand on such art in our city, on our city property or city walls? Has there or will there be any studies to see how this will affect our community in the long run? What sites are being considered to become public canvases? Is the art walk in the Ross Shopping Center showcasing local artists' work? That's one I would like to know. And if it's not, why not? And if it hasn't been updated, if there's something that we can do to update it, if the city has any stance on that, any jurisdiction over that display. Another one that I would definitely love to see when you guys come back with your study is to figure out how long the art would be displayed. And here's another important one that I think we need to consider as a department is who's going to be responsible for the defacement of any of this art that's on public property. Referring specifically over to one of the points that I'd like to carry over would be in the case if we happen to get requests for the graffiti style murals. And I mean no offense when I call it graffiti. I know a lot of people call it mural art. I've known it as graffiti murals for years. But, and I'd also like to take a second to make a case against any type of graffiti murals. There's been many studies that have been conducted into this type of what you would call art. Like you said, Roseanne, art is super subjective. What's art to me may not be art to you. This study in particular that I read, an article that I read, was highlighting the positive aspects and trying to make a case for I guess you could say, for it to be allowed and decriminalized or to change the perception of the public. This was on Springer Link. Springer Link published this article written by Garby Van Dereen and Gwen Van Jack, and I probably obliterated those names. The title of the article is Criminal But Beautiful, a study on graffiti and the role of value judgment and context in perceiving disorder. Now, like I said, this article focused on trying to come to an agreement as far as how you would be able to change the perception of what negative art is today into what it should be according to the subculture of the people who actually understand that art. What is it called? Like I said, there's been many names. Three of the names that were brought up in this article was urban blight, artistic expression, and even art crimes. The article goes into depth to demonstrate the type of trying to demonstrate how this type of art is perceived by the public. One big problem in our area is what the most of our residents would consider this type of art. Many residents who I've spoken to over the last couple of weeks, from hearing this proposal to get this art on our walls, most of them automatically affiliate that type of art with gang ties. And the first thing that came to mind in many of the residents was, how long is it going to take the city to take that off? We've seen this type of art in different places in our city. It gets taken down right away. And the reason why I say we see this type of art in our city in different areas is because we cannot draw a single line that's going to define what art is in somebody's eyes and what art's not. Obviously, a lot of the art or graffiti that's been removed or is currently being removed, which Bell Gardens does an excellent job at doing, you know, it might not be art in our eyes, but who's to stop the person who's doing it thinking that it's actually art? Uh, you know, the other one would be, okay, so here's another one. Because this type of art has so many subcategories, I mean, it goes from tagging, artistic pieces, gang affiliation, stencil art, amongst many others. The people in this community do not understand how to distinguish one type of art from another. And again, it goes all back to somehow, some way, it being gang affiliated. Even your most elaborate pieces that you see uh, could have some type of gang regalia in it, and we just automatically assume that it's some type of graffiti that's gang affiliated. Now, when you're in a community where the majority of the people affiliate that type of art with gang activity, you have the majority of the opinions in law enforcement is when they see graffiti, it's automatically an increase in crime and in disorder, which that was actually confirmed not only by one agency but by many agencies. To me personally, it's very hard, and I understand why we would, if we do allow this type of art, we would want to re-educate our community on what the specific art is and what it's not. But do we even have an understanding internally of how to do that? The next thing would be that if we do get this art on our walls, this type of art, then we start normalizing the general genre of art, where people who might not, who we wouldn't see as a creator of a particular art, would think they are a creator of that particular art, and they're going to start wanting to put their art on walls as well, with or without permission. And that's going to create a lot of competition within the walls that are allowed, or the wall that is allowed, and with a lot of the public spaces that we do have, both private and public. And if we take this and draw this down the line, we shouldn't have to incur in more expense to try to clean up unauthorized art, which would be considered defacing a public building, whether it be in the public sector or in the private sector. And once you allow one artist to come up, it becomes a slippery slope, because then other artists start asking, why isn't my art, you know, allowed to go up into the city? We got to consider the cost of repairs. This is one that I think is probably the most important one that I'd like to express to the department, is before we start allowing, I wouldn't only say just graffiti art, but art in general, we got to figure out how the cost of repairs are going to be if it is defaced. Unfortunately, defacement of art that's put in public happens to get defaced, especially if it's this type of graffiti murals. It doesn't take a genius to understand that. You can literally jump in your car, drive down Slauson, Washington, go up 8th Street, go up 7th Street, go up Main Street, all in Los Angeles, go throughout Los Angeles County, and you're going to see that the public places that have been allowed to be used as a public canvas for this type of art, you see a portion of the original mural, and on the bottom portion, it happens to be, you know, destroyed or defaced, either with other graffiti art that they put on the bottom of it, or the layers of paint that the city has had to put there to try to repair the defacement on these things. And it becomes I guess a sour, it just becomes a sour sight. Do we really want to deal with that? How is it that it's going to be repaired? Are we going to bring back the local artist to come and repair his own art? Are we just going to have patchwork on the art? Are we going to paint the whole thing white again and let somebody else come back and repaint it? What type of headache is that going to create for the Public Works Department? And what is it going to look like for our kids in the area?
Victor, if I might,
Sure.
I think you're farther ahead than I am, for sure. What I'm looking for is trying to establish the criteria of where and what would be and what the process is for determining if a site is eligible to place any art. We're not even getting into types of art or anything else, because I don't want to be subjected, I don't want to create my opinion in it. What we're trying to do is establish the policies and procedures for placing art and for how art is designed. And then it'll be up to, I'm guessing it might be a commission specifically assigned to this commission to deal with art. It might come under this commission, I'm not sure. That is going to be at the pleasure of how council wants to see it. And so basically I'm gathering information how other communities are handling public art from different cities. And then what I'm going to do is pull one report together, and they may take pieces of what one city's doing versus another city and what works well here in Bell Gardens. Recognizing all of the points that you brought up about cost and about defacing and what is art versus what is not art. Whether it's indoor, outdoor, whether it's a sculpture, a statue, a mural, because again, art can be a lot of different things. Is it a permanent fixture versus a temporary fixture? And so all of those items will be addressed in the report. And again, it'll be at the pleasure of what council feels is what is wanted here in the community. And I'm sure at that point, all of you as residents and commissioners and all of your constituents will have an opportunity to chime in at the council meeting and say, this is what we want, this is what we don't want, this is what we like, this is what we don't like. And then I'm sure they'll take some action as to how we'll proceed.
That is perfect. And thankfully, I was pretty much done when you cut me off. So
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to.
No. I know. I totally understand. But I was pretty much already finished. I was looking over my points. I just wanted to make the case against that type of art because of the complications that come with it. That's been seen not only in LA County, but this is across the country. So with that said, that's what I had to say about that point.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Casas. If I can just make a suggestion regarding art on the city walls and parks. I know that in the past, I don't know if it was a city event because it was so long ago, but when we first established that big shopping center where the Panda and the Starbucks is at, we actually have tiles with community members and kids in the community who either drew on it or painted, and they were stuck on the walkways of our shopping center. And to this day, they're still there. I don't know if they've been defaced, but they still look great. I still have friends that have had tiles, and they go by, and every time we pass them, they say, look, there's my tile. So I think that's really cool, and I think that's maybe something that we can establish with our new art on walls and parks if we do get to that point. So that would just be my suggestion, looking into maybe doing that as an alternative so we can actually include some of our kids and our youth in these art on our walls and parks, and not just professionals or what we say are professionals. But that would be my 2 cents. I don't know if any other commissioner has any other comments or questions regarding this item?
Yeah, this is Laura. all super valid points, and I hear you, Roseanne, around like I'm just trying to study this, and the first things that came to my mind was East LA is super rich in art and murals, and so I haven't looked at that, but I'll definitely, if I find anything, I'll ask around to see what does that policy look like, because I'm sure they have one, because it's so beautiful and robust. And one other idea, I love the idea that was just brought up by the former commissioner around the youth, specifically because we're a youth commission also, and also indigenous folks, right? We are on Tongva land that doesn't get acknowledged enough, right? And so I think that's something that could also be integrated. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Cortez. Is there any other commissioner who has questions or comments regarding this item? If not, we can move on to the next. Item C, Prop 4757, and its effect on our parks. I know that Commissioner Casas had some information for us, so I will turn it over to him.
Excuse me. Thank you, Tara. Here's another one that it was based on a comment in not the last, but the one before that, a council meeting, where it was mentioned that our parks are being overrun by gang members, and that we need to take our parks back. And as much as I can appreciate those comments, because I don't think anybody wants our parks to be overrun with gang members, I think a lot has to do. I think I should start off by stating that I did go out to our parks at various times of the day. Unfortunately, I was going to provide a video. The video was taken in the day. However, in the transferring and trying to be Mr. Geek here, unfortunately, I deleted the footage. But I wanted to highlight a few things. Although the video was taken the day, I also made night visits to the park. And the 3 parks that I visited were the parks that I felt that were most, I guess you could say, vulnerable to gang activity. One was Ford Park. During the day, obviously, Ford Park is awesome. I don't particularly like ducks, but I mean, I know a lot of people do. It's beautiful. I don't like walking around between the feathers and stuff. But I think that all of that is just by nature what's going to happen there. I did not see any major trash problems. I think just paper here and there. I think our Fort Park it's a really great looking park. I love that park. The pond is awesome. People who do go there really look like they enjoy it. One thing I did notice is that at night the parking lot was open. I think something should be done to somehow, some way keep that parking lot closed when it's not in operational hours. There's a lighting issue over by the school that should be addressed. We know dark spaces bring out dark people, and I'm not talking about skin tone. I'm talking about people up to nefarious things. I think we should get some lighting next to between the building at Ford Park and the school. Should have some type of lighting put in there. If we're not planning that, we should look into it. Other than that, again, there's really nothing you can nitpick at Ford Park. I think it's kept up in great shape. The other one is Veterans Park. Veterans Park, I think there's a lot of things that has going for itself. I wish we can open up everything that we have there. Obviously, we can't because, like you said, Roseanne, the protocols that are still in place. I think the baseball diamond should be opened already, which you're already doing. I think we should see what we could do to add more tables and chairs, which would be awesome. But in general, the park looks like it's in really good hands. It's hard to believe that you can actually maintain a park with everything that you guys are doing. You guys are doing an excellent job. The other one in particular that I was pretty interested in, and the one that I visited 3 times at night and twice in the day, was Marlow Park. I saw about 4 people there between 6:30 and 7. When I came back at 9 to 9:30, there was nobody there. I think the last time I went was like at midnight when I went out for a food run to Alberto's. I swung by there, checked it out. There was nothing really there. One thing I did want to highlight, I don't know when this lighting went up, but when I was there, great lighting. The park was very clean at all times that I went, and the park looks like it's in overall great condition. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I don't think it's the absolute correct thing to say that we're being overrun by gangs. I think we do a pretty good job to keep that type of audience away, but there are limits, and that's where I decided to reach back in. Now we can say it's a throwback Thursday. Reach back and look at Prop 4757, that and AB 109. How all of this is going to end up affecting not only our parks but our general community, which is eventually going to seep into our parks just by nature. When you have Prop 47 increasing petty thefts, forgeries, all kinds of misdemeanors that were felonies. When you increase the limit from $450 to $950, it incentivizes. And I understand the purpose. I don't want to make it sound like it was a bad thing that these things did pass. However, the unintended consequences is seeping back into our communities. You have people who are incentivizing, not incentivized, people who are taking advantage of the fact that you can no longer get hit with the felony if you're getting caught cashing fake checks, stealing property from stores like 7-Eleven, Daniel's Jewelers. Although you might still get the cops called on you, it is now a slap in the hand. You walk away with the ticket, if that. A lot of these stores don't even call the police anymore. Now you have Prop 57 that, along with the prison realignment, allowed a lot of long-term inmates that were convicted for these type of felonious, I guess these felonies, the felonious crimes, are now being brought back to court. They were brought back to court. They were dropped as misdemeanors. A lot of them got either parole, probation, or just time served. And it becomes a huge issue that the recidivism, you can't account for it anymore because these people are not getting rearrested because there's no longer a felony there to arrest them for. Along with that, you have California AB 109, which is pretty much getting rid of the bail system. Although it might be a great thing in the public view, there's a huge issue when it comes to enforcement. And then you topple all of that with the prosecutor that we have now, which is Gascon, which is refusing to prosecute many of the crimes, even though they are felony. They do fall into that higher category. We are increasingly seeing people who don't have a space in the public where they can fit themselves into as productive members of society because either they're looked down upon because they don't have the skills, people that just got out of prison, people don't know where to go to get these services. All of these individuals, you're seeing them in the homeless community, you're seeing them in out under the bridge, you see them panhandling, you're starting to see the increased movement with this section of society. Now, obviously, if we're seeing this overall growth in the section of society, it's obviously going to seep into our parks. And to me, it just seems disingenuous for anybody to sit there and say we're being overrun by gangs and we need to do something to take our parks back when we're not sitting down here and looking at the root cause and trying to fix the root cause. What that fix is, I don't know. I'm just a commissioner, but there's policy that should be in place where these unintended consequences get addressed so us as residents don't have to deal with these unintended consequences having these type of people in our parks. And if we really fear the gang members and people who we think that are up to no good in our parks, I mean, we really have to open up our eyes and realize it's not only our parks, it's everywhere you go in our city. We're seeing this type of increase. So I want to make sure that's really clear. I think our Parks and Recs department has done a great job to keep our parks as clean as possible. I've lived here for many years, and I can honestly tell you that these parks are in better condition now than they have ever been in the past. And you can look back and see the improvements that we've made. So I just want to make sure that it's acknowledged that although these propositions may have been well intended, they do come with their unintended consequences. And we are now seeing them after 7, 10, 12 years that they've been passed. Now we're seeing those unintended consequences affect us here directly. So just so we all know, I think that has a lot to do with if there is an issue, which I really don't think there is. And I've asked for the stats from PD. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get them to me on time. But I'd like to know what the increase was over the last 24 to 36 months, the activity as far as to be able to justify that we are having a problem with gangs in our parks. And with that, that'll conclude what I have to say about that.
Thank you, Commissioner Gaffos, for the information. Does any other commissioner have any comments or questions regarding this item? Okay. If nobody has any further comments or questions, we'll move on to letter D, the Recreation Community Services
Just
report.
one comment, commissioners. If I can have maybe Armando elaborate on the hours that the parking lot is closed. And thank you for bringing that to our attention, because if they were open, then we need to address it with our security, but we do close off the parking lots, and I'll let him indicate the hours that they are closed.
Thank you, Roseanne. I had noted it down so that I could email Commissioner Casas, but we'll address it now. Our parking lots are closed at 9 p.m. until 6 a.m. in the morning. And technically the entire park is closed at that time. So of course there's people that probably wake up at 5 o'clock and come for a walk. Technically they could be cited because the parks are closed until 6 a.m. And there's signage noted in the parking lots. And I was going to ask Commissioner Casas if he recalls around what time that parking lot was open, because our staff is responsible for closing that on a nightly basis.
Yes, as a matter of fact, Armando, that I do particularly remember because I had my son with me. That was on Sunday between 10 and 10:30 p.m.
Fort Park, 10 and 10:30. And was it the parking lot east of our facility or on the sports center and golf course side?
On the east end.
Okay.
I'm glad you referred to the sports because I'm not really good with north, south, east, and west, man.
No worries. So Sunday at 10:30. Yes, definitely the parking lot should have been closed by 9 p.m. and I want to say 99.9% of the time they are. We do have incidents where the lock is busted because unfortunately sometimes the vehicles are left there and whoever parked there does not know how to get out. There's a way to get out. You just have to be familiar with the park. So they'll bust them to get their vehicle out so that it's not cited or towed.
Right on, Armando. Thank you so much. I appreciate that info.
Thank you.
Okay. If everybody's done with their comments or questions, we'll go ahead and move on to letter D, the Recreation and Community Services Department on masking of families and youth. I know that Rosanna or Armando had some information on that for us.
Yes. So in regards to programming, we are sticking to CDC and LA County guidelines for masking requirements. I know that there was an update last week as to masks not being required outdoors. And that's when you're utilizing the park on your own. But when it comes to programs such as our baseball program that Roseanne referred to earlier, every participant, while on defense, they do not have to wear a mask. If they are in the dugout, masks for them and the coaches will be required. All parents and spectators in the stands will be required to maintain their mask on. Again, any participants actually playing defense on baseball, or in the coming week when we start our soccer practices, when they're out playing soccer, they do not have to wear their mask while playing the sport. Now, if they're on the sideline, the bench, or spectators, masks will continue to be required. And we will continue to update as the guidelines are provided by LA County.
I'd like to add, we had some discussion among staff today, and I know that there's going to be further discussion in regards to City Hall. Our feeling is that when a patron comes to our facilities, we're going to ask that they wear a mask, because at this time we don't know who's vaccinated and who's not. And I think out of sheer abundance of safety for the staff, you know, masks will be required. And so we're going to do our own little social media campaign. We're going to encourage people to come visit us. But when they do, please wear a mask and maintain their distance. I'm confident that within our department, about 90% of our staff are now vaccinated. And so there's a few that have not been vaccinated for various reasons. And so amongst ourselves in the facilities, those individuals starting on June 15th, those individuals who are not vaccinated will be required to wear a mask, and those that are vaccinated will have the option of wearing or not wearing. And again, the city is working through their HR department to determine how we'll officially know that if a person has been vaccinated or not. There's HIPAA requirements that we have to follow. And so we're just trying to do our best to adhere to the policies. I was on a call for about 2 hours with the county, with all the Parks and Recreation directors with LA County, and it's kind of a think tank as to, we try to figure out safe ways to have concerts, safe ways to do movies in the park. And we're going to proceed with all of those activities, having movies in the park, having concerts in the park, which will begin at the end of June. They'll continue Tuesdays and Thursday nights at Veterans Park. And so we're going to be, you know, using the protocols, utilizing the signage that LA County is providing us, doing our best to educate our staff as to what the different protocols are as it relates to food, as it relates to interaction with the community. And so at this point, because we don't know who's been vaccinated and not, I mean, we don't wear a sign that says I've been vaccinated and all that other good stuff. So you will see a good number of us continuing to wear masks when we're engaged with the public. And that's just something that I think we'll be doing for a little while longer, probably beyond June 15th. And, you know, we'll just do our best to continue to work with the community. I personally feel safer. And, you know, that's kind of why we're making such an effort to try to get as many people in our community vaccinated, because we think that that's kind of like the way out. But other than that, I don't know if there's any other questions in regards to COVID protocols or anything else as it relates to masking of our participants in our programs.
Do any commissioners have any comments or questions regarding this item?
Now, just a comment. Thank you so much for that update, both Armando and Roseanne. That was awesome.
I would like to make a quick comment. I agree with you, Roseanne. I think that we should all wear a mask as much as possible. And when allowing the community to come in, we should definitely ask that they also have a mask on. As for vaccinations, I know we talked about it a little earlier with our department update, but I don't know if maybe the department can, you know, once every other week or once a week, just update, maybe on social media, update how much or what the percentage is of the city of Bell Gardens residents who have gotten vaccinated already. I don't know if that's already being done, but if not, I think that would be really cool for everybody to know, just so that we can see our numbers increase and really get a feel for what to expect moving forward. But I completely agree with the mask mandate or the mask request that we have them wear it.
I think those statistics are available. I will speak with Hylas Soto. He's kind of in line with what's going on with the county and the vaccination sites and the number of people getting vaccinated and how that is rolling out. We did our own little statistics, which I was able to get the demographics from our project, and where we just tracked you know, male, female, age, and what city they were from and how many people we vaccinated. So we're all kind of doing our own little science. And it looks like 50% of Bell Gardens resident, you know, if we do 500 vaccinations, let's just say 50% of them are Bell Gardens people, and the other 50% are from all over the place. And, you know, because I think we're available after after 5 o'clock, people are finding us accessible, but I'm still trying to figure out how people are coming here from Thousand Palms, from Corona, from
Lake Elsinore.
Alhambra, from where, Armando?
Lake Elsinore.
Lake Elsinore. It's just amazing to me. Like, there's people coming from all over the place. Maybe they work out here, I don't know, but we are doing our little statistical data in that, but I will get some information from Hylas as to what our vaccination rate is for Bell Gardens. But again, we're pushing as hard as we can to get as many of our residents educated, knowledgeable about the importance of being vaccinated, and trying to make it as easy for them, staying, you know, extended hours so that our working you know, folks can get to us in time, and they're very receptive to it. So it's just a matter of trying to get people to feel comfortable. And I think the fact that we're offering it at our park makes it that much more, they're comfortable with us. And so I think there's a little trust factor. So, you know, please get the word out. Tuesday we'll be vaccinating again.
Awesome, thank you. Do any other commissioners have any comments or questions? If not, we can move on to our next item, which is letter E, volunteer cleanup crew. I know that Commissioner Casas asked that this be put on the agenda, so I'm going to hand it over to him now.
Tara, this was an idea that I decided to bring to the commission to see if, one, what's the possibilities, two, see what's the level of interest and involvement. I've spoken to a couple of our council members, and they've expressed a desire to learn more about it. I also spoke to other people here in the city that are also interested in participating. But this is something that we've been doing as a family. When I say as a family, it's me, my wife, and my kids, that once or twice a month we'll select a certain area of the city where we see has been, I won't say neglected, but maybe overseen by our public works department and the street sweeper. We see some trash accumulating. We'll just literally pick up a bag of trash, go out there with the broom and a shovel, and just pick up whatever we can. We'll try to do at least 2 or 3 bags, bring it back home, dump it into our garbage can, and it goes out Tuesday. I wanted to see if there was anybody in the commission, first of all, who would be interested in trying to expand this program so we can include other residents, and to ask, obviously, the department what would be the correct course of action to do something like that? Would it be something that we would have to take to the council, the city manager? Is there a way we can keep it as just as residents, or any input, or if anybody is interested in participating? I would definitely like to see this project expand a little bit further beyond my household, just so we can do our part to keep our city as nice as possible.
This is Laura.
I'd like to,
So go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Okay, I'll be quick. Thank you. Yeah, I think not necessarily the cleanup crew, Commissioner Casas, but for me, I've personally also been reflecting on my role in supporting with this, and I particularly thought about supporting unhoused folks. We do have quite a few along the river who need resources, and that's what I've been looking into, and that's how I plan to support. So yeah, just wanted to uplift that as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Commissioner Cortez. I think that both of your ideas are amazing, and I know that when I saw that this item was going to be put on the agenda, I was really excited because I know that I had expressed to Commissioner Casas regarding my eagerness to want to join him and his family. So I know that I'm just waiting for a date. So just send me a date of when you plan on heading out, and I can join. And I would be more than happy to take my family along. And I'm sure that there are many members of the community that would like to. So I would be more than happy to support that and get the word out. And again, if we can get some direction from the department as far as whether we can do this ourselves just as community members, or if it's something that we would have to go through the department because we are commissioners.
Okay, so first of all, I believe there's 5 of you now, so 3 or more of you is a quorum. So it would, there would need to be some commission action to declare it as an activity. We would have to determine, the who, what, where, when, all of those details. It would be nice to get, I don't think it needs formal council approval, but informal council approval, whether it's you as individual commissioner speaking to your council person that appointed you. From there, I know that they've done a cleanup where they partnered with the Bell Gardens Police Department, and I don't know, I think it was Neighborhood Watch, I believe, and that was actually done the Saturday that we did our hoppy egg hunt. So it does take a little bit of coordination, because what happens is if you're picking up large items or different things, if it depends on where you're targeting, it would involve public works. So there would be some resources that might need to be taken. So I think it might require a little bit more discussion, a little bit more planning, whether it's done collectively, in a separate meeting, maybe 2 commissioners take the lead and determine how this is going to move forward, and then it's put together and organized, and seeing what type of support is needed by staffing, by the council, by Athens or our hauler, just to determine what the magnitude is. So I would say that maybe if 2 of you wanted to take the lead on this and then do the work as far as the coordination. I believe it can be supported by staff. I could be supported by a number of people, but I think what we need to do is get all the details of what you're looking at. It's a little broad right now, so if we can tighten it up, and then we can move forward with whatever activities and actions you'd like to take going forward.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Roseanne. I would be more than happy to work with you, Commissioner Grossos, on this, and then maybe we can meet with the department sometime before our meeting just to go over a couple of things, if that's allowed, and then we can go from there. If there are no other questions or comments regarding this item, I would like to move on to number 6, which is public participation.
We had no comments or questions from the public.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Now we move on to comments from the commission. So we will start with whoever wants to jump in.
This is Commissioner Vargas. I want to follow up on one more thing. You guys mentioned on June 5th, the food distribution. Is that Bell Gardens resident only, or is that open to everybody?
It's open to everyone.
Okay. And then I also wanted to let the public know and the other commissioners that I ended up also attending the Earth Day event, the park held. And at the Earth Day event, it was really, really, really great. There was social distancing, there was face masking. It was just such a great back to recreational activity and programming that the park is and that the department's really well known for. The kids were painting birdhouses. They were drawing chalk. They were doing paint chalk drawing on the floor. They had 2 different stations. Rotations. So it was well planned, organized, executed. So I enjoyed being there with my Girl Scout troop, and then seeing all the other families come out. So it was just a glimpse of what the department is doing right now. So for those that are looking forward to all the programming that's to come in the summer, I'm very excited for all the projects that are being discussed and worked on. So I know protocol and policies is a big thing for you guys, and I appreciate that you're keeping not only your staff in mind, but you're also keeping the community in mind and protecting us and just keeping us safe. So thank you for all your continued hard work.
Thank you. Is there any other, or for the next commission comment? Commissioner Cortez, would you like to make any comments?
Oh, no, I was literally mouthing, oh, not me, but thank you.
Sorry, I can't see you right now. Commissioner Casas, do you have any final comments?
I believe
don't think
Commissioner
he's
Casas
on.
got disconnected.
Okay, we can go back if he comes back in. Thank you, Armando. Vice Chair Romero?
No, I'm okay. Thank you, guys. Just took down some notes. Hopefully, I'll see you guys on June 5th.
Awesome. And then for myself, as far as commission comments, I would like to say thank you again for all of the hard work I have seen over social media and when I pass by the parks. I see a lot of the staff members really doing what they can to keep it clean, keep everybody active. I know that I was able to see a few stories on the Mother's Day event that was held at the Senior Center, and I was super excited to see it. I know that Ale is super talented in what she does. She's a great artist, and she's such a fun person to be around. So I thought having her lead that, opposed to source, getting somebody outside and bringing them in to teach that class, was a great idea. So I love to see that. I also am happy to hear about baseball and soccer starting up. That's really exciting to hear. I hope that we can start seeing some flyers and information regarding our dance classes. I know that we are doing small fry soccer, so that's bringing in our kids ages 4 to 7. But I know that there have been many, many parents that have contacted me via Instagram or because they have my cell phone number, and a lot of them are waiting and looking for that information on dance classes and even creative kids. So I don't know if that's in the works or if we are in progress to release any of those dates, but I know that there are a lot of people asking for that. So I'm excited to see that when it comes. I don't know if this will be mentioned in a council meeting later on in the future, but I know that it's coming up, and I'm not sure if we will be doing anything, but I know 4th of July is around the corner. I'm not sure if we will try to create some sort of event to give to our community, whether that be something social distance or something virtual, but I know that the community would really love to see something from or for 4th of July. If nothing's in the works, I think just letting our community know would be nice. Let's see. Also, I am excited to assist in June 5th food distribution, so you can go ahead and sign me up, Armando. I encourage all commissioners to go out and support our community and our staff with giving this food to our community. It's a lot of work, and if you do come out, I recommend you wear tons of sunblock and sunscreen.
Yes,
Last
Tiara.
summer I was in the sun and it was terrible. Everybody can tell you I got the worst sunburn of my life, and I do not wish that on anybody. So if you don't have sunblock, I will be sure to bring some. But if you do volunteer, make sure you're wearing long sleeves or you have that sunblock, or you try to be in the shade as much as possible. And Armando, I know that I briefly mentioned it in our last meeting, but if we can just get a list of events that are coming up, or any dates that you have ahead of time, just so that we can plan it and put it on our calendar. I know that we all are super busy, but we all do want to be a part of the community and a part of these events. I know I do, and I was really bummed about not being able to assist or participate or donate snacks and goodies to our seniors during that event, only because I've always wanted to do that event with the community, like adults, maybe at our golf course. So yeah, if we can just get a list of calendar events to our commissioners, I think that would be really, really awesome, so that we can plan ahead and accordingly, just to inform you, and so that we can have some stuff to do and duties during the events. But that's it for my comments. I don't know if Commissioner Casas is back. I can't see the screen. Is he in?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Well, if there are no other comments or questions from staff, I would like to adjourn this meeting as of 7:17.
Can I just interject something?
Oh, yeah. Yes, of course.
Commissioner Cortez, our vaccination rate is 45.9% for Bell Gardens, which is close to being consistent with Area E. Hylas must be watching or listening, and he heard your question, and so he sent me a message and said with the report, and our vaccination rate is 45.9%. So thank you, Hylas, for helping me out. I appreciate it.
Safe to call it 46.
Okay.
Awesome.
Madam Chairperson.
Thank you, Hylas, for the info.
Madam Chairperson, the list, we are waiting for our budget to be approved for the upcoming fiscal year. Once that budget's approved, we'll know what programs will happen, and we will be gladly able to share a quarterly list of events. We'll plan the full year, but we'll share it quarterly in the event that there's needs to be made some changes.
Awesome. Thank you, Armando. And thank you, Hylas, for getting that info so fast. Again, if there are no other comments or questions from staff or the commission, I would like to adjourn this meeting as of 7:19 p.m. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.